What's up, everybody? Check your boy out one time. So I got this story. This was back when I was in county jail in 1991, and now you gotta already know. You know what I'm saying? A white crip coming into county jail, the whites are not happy about it, and the whole situation inside. Everything is real racial, and me being, you know what I'm saying? Opposed to their way of doing things made things more difficult for me. So this was just one of the instances, and this was, the very first day I got to George Bailey because, when I went to county jail, we still had old county jail. This was before the new county that they have now. We had old county jail. And if anybody, was old enough to remember the old county jail, that thing was dirty. It was nasty. It was deadly. If you got caught in that well by the wrong people at the wrong time, a lot of people lost their lives in the well, or uh, got messed up really, really bad. And I was a witness. I was, I was involved in one. The well was a dangerous place. If you got caught in there, it was trouble. So this one was my first day in George Bailey, and it was crazy because this was a new facility. It had been open for like, maybe 3 to 4 months, because they just opened George Bailey. First, they only had East Mesa, and East Mesa is the minimum security spot where they made the food to trays for the other jail facilities. It's crazy. So here I am, and it's my first day. So they put me in a tank, and this is a high power. I mean, a lot of people, looking at life. Some people already got sentenced, and other people are going to trial. Other people, are hoping to take a deal. It's just a bunch of people that are not happy. And here I come, I come walking in the tank with my stuff, and as soon as I, let them know, look, I'm a Crip. So, so the white boy, the head white boy. So he was the shot caller for the tank. It's not a big honor or nothing. It's just whoever, has can pretend to be tougher than the other guys. That's it. So he came up and he had a plan. He caught me, and it was bad because, I'm sitting there, listening to him. And the whole point is, we in front of the tower. The tower, so, but in jail, you take off wherever you get mad at, and you don't stop until the police pull you off somebody. That's the way if I get into a fight, I'm taking off first. I'm not letting up, and I'm gonna keep beating on whoever it is until somebody pulls me off. That's I'm in prison, but it's some foul stuff that goes on. When people in incarcerated situations, if you get knocked out, then you can people can take advantage of you. It's all kinds of things that happen. So, all this is being incarcerated. It was a rough time. It was the worst time of my life, and I made the best. I was stuck. I put myself in a bad situation. And I fought my way through, and I'm still here to tell the story. So anyway, so I just getting into the tank. This guy, takes off on me first. While he's talking, he just, hit me blindsided, caught me, hit me right in the eye. So, I just started, swinging. I'm a fighter. So, if you hit me, that doesn't mean I'm going to run away. That just means, oh, I'm going to start hitting you back. So, I started hitting back, and, I don't know what happened, because I was all over this dude, and he just expected me. I don't know. He maybe he thought he was going to knock me out or whatever. But the dude hit me and thought that was it. I just, charged him, I couldn't see. So I charged him. I'm fighting, but I'm charging him, and he's backing up. And he ran into the wall, the wall with the cell doors. And once he ran into that, I'm all over him, But I can't see out of one eye, But I'm just, instinct, fight, fight, fight. And here come the police, the alarm goes off, all that, I'm glad they didn't shoot me. I've been in so many altercations, and, every time you go somewhere, no warning shots, no warning shots, no warning shots, no warning shots. And that's the thing. I know I'm going to be in a lot of fights because I'm white, and I run with the Crips. I run with the blacks. So, the powers that be weren't happy about that. So anyway, this was my first day in George Bailey, and now the police are pulling me out of the tank. I've been in there like maybe 20 minutes. Because, I came up in here, I got at my folks, I let them know what's up. And it was like, oh, okay, one of my homeboys was there, and he, because the tank captain was a blood. So my homeboy went and hollered at him and told him, look, man, this is my homeboy, he with us. If he go, I go, so. And they was like, well, if you vouch for him, then, he with us. So then, the white boys wanted to holler at me, so anybody gonna want to fight one-on-one? Come on, let's go. But we go into a cell and chunk them. You know what I mean? I ain't turning down no fades. I've been fighting all my life, so this ain't nothing new. So the dude, chose not to go up in the cell with me because, that would have been all bad for him. At the time, didn't nobody know who I was. Snow Rock wasn't even a thing because it was just a joke at the time. Snow Rock was a complete joke between my homeboys, and it was, the homies was just cracking jokes, and oh man, that'd be a proper name. You ought to change your name. And man, fuck that. You know what I mean? I had a name at the time, which we don't need to bring up. But if you know, you know. Keep it to yourself. Don't tell nobody. No, so the story about this was, I end up into a fight. So as soon as, I get there, get into a fight, police come in there, everything, they, oh, you're the problem, you're out of here. So they put me on in a van and sent me back to the place I just came from, which was South Bay at the time. I was in South Bay in the high power tank, and we was in, I think it was 2A. And they sent me right back to the 2A, to the cell that I had left. It was empty, and they put me right back into the empty cell. And then when everybody woke up in the morning, here I am, with a black eye. And then, well, what the hell? I thought you went to George Bailey, man. As soon as I got there, bing, bing, bing. And, this is what happened. Oh, man, that's crazy. The next day you back over here. So it is what it is. That's the way things go. But I had this black eye because the dude, the first punch, he sucker punched me. It was low budget, but you gotta get it how you can get it. So he got a shot in, hit me in the eye. So I got this black eye, but the white part of my eye is all red. So it looks bad because it's puffy and black and swollen, and then the white part is all red. And then they called me for a visit. My mom came to visit me, right? And I felt so bad, I come out there on a visit, and then I'm not thinking about it. It's nothing to me. It's a black eye. I go out there. As soon as I sit down in the chair, my mom just starts crying. Oh, my heart dropped. I felt so bad. Mom, I won. Mom, it's okay. Mom, I had explained to her that I could see everything. I had no problems. I'm fine. But, it was just hard for me because, that made my mom cry. I don't never want to make my mom cry. Don't no man ever want to make his mom cry. And if you a man, Hey, hit the comments, hit the like, hit the share. I'm trying to get this content out, folks. Hit this share to me. Share it to somebody, anybody. Thanks for watching.